Iranian affairs analyst Seyed Mostafa Khoshcheshm joins us now live from Tehran. Thank you for joining us on the program. Now, the Taliban wants to gain international recognition at this point. What outcome can we expect from these talks? And do you think that it will serve as a platform where the Taliban can repair their reputation?
Hello, and thanks for having me. Well, Iran has always been after two objectives as two urgent objectives. One is supplying humanitarian aid to the people in Afghanistan. Some reports say nearly 70 to 80% of the people are dealing with severe lack of foodstuff as well as medical supplies. Some are suffering hunger. And as winter approaches, the situation will aggravate. For sure, millions would start movement to other countries, especially the neighboring countries like Iran, and that would definitely be a big trouble for all the neighbors. The neighbors of Afghanistan are the first to pay the price for the casual and for the disorder that was caused by the casual U.S. withdrawal and exit from Afghanistan. And not a single NGO or neighboring country or even a network of NGOs could do good to provide enough food and medical supplies to the Afghan people, especially in coming months. So the UN is not active enough, and there needs to be a large number of countries to help the poor Afghan people. A second problem is about instability in the country, and we know that instability in Afghanistan would soon, as usual, it would soon spoil over to the neighboring countries.
Right.
So
and
Iran has always worked hard to make sure of stability in the country.
Right, and this also does add to the security concerns along the border. If I'm remembering correctly, Iran shares about 1,000 kilometers worth of a border with Afghanistan, and it has some key security interests there. And they did deploy members of their army as U.S. troops were withdrawn from the country in Afghanistan. What are Iran's main security concerns at this point?
Well, yeah, Afghanistan is the prime and first producer of, narcotics. And definitely a huge share of this narcotic plantation has always been routed to other countries, especially in the West. So Iran is the first dam against drug trafficking. Iran has given some 5,000 of its law enforcement, army, and policemen who have been martyred and dedicated their lives to the fight against, narcotics. Despite this very fact, the UN has never, helped Iran. The Europeans have failed to even provide Iran with a dozen night vision goggles, and they've been trying to stop, such law enforcement equipment to Iran. So Iran has done its best in order to fight against the narcotics. Also, there are terrorist groups that would definitely go for taking advantage of the situation, like ISIS of Khorasan, ISIS-K, that have been killing people, bombing, and they've been making use of this, misuse of this chaotic situation and lack of order and stability in Afghanistan. So the sooner stability prevails over Afghanistan, the better for all the neighbors. And Iran's objective and method to establish security in Afghanistan and stability in there is the establishment of an all-inclusive government that would, control the situation better.
Do you think a member of the Taliban not participating in these talks will hinder reaching the ultimate goal here of forming that all-inclusive government?
Well, Taliban has welcomed the talks in Tehran. They know pretty well that Iran wants stability and end of violence in the country. It is in the best national interest of Iran. And they have, made so many promises to all the neighbors, as well as to the Russians, to the Chinese and others. The Taliban has come to realize that it needs welfare of the people and economic development in order to, ensure its stay in power. But they know better than anyone else that they need to share power with others. Otherwise, they would be blamed for all the problems and severe lack of food and others. And, they won't be able to control the situation alone. And to ensure their longer stay and to avoid repeating the past situation and experience, they need to, give the share to other representatives of the society of the Afghan nation. And that's why they have welcomed what Iran has demanded. Iran has demanded them to ensure that its interests are secured, that Shiite community would not be targeted by them and by the terrorists. Iran has asked them to allow the population to have their representatives in the form of different groups taking part in the new government. And they have made promises. We need to wait and see if the Taliban stays loyal to its promises to the neighbors.
Right, time will tell. Seyed Mostafa Khoshcheshm, thank you so much for sharing that analysis with us.